What's up, guys? Welcome to part 5 of me having a problem with people like Panda, but nothing personal with Panda. The joke is getting old. Anyways, I didn't have time to record this yesterday. I'm gonna do the react right now. I'm gonna be watching the Bella video. I'm not gonna be watching all of it. I already saw all of it. I just took notes of like certain things that I want to talk about, and I'll tell you right now. Panda absolutely had nothing to complain about regarding this video. Is Beller slightly negative? Yeah, but a lot of it is constructive criticism. He's saying what Blizzard should notice that was not good. A lot of it is like delivery stuff, and suggestions of what to improve. That's pretty much the premise of the video. So I would say this actually really qualifies as constructive criticism, and not what fucking Panda is trying to farm out of this, where it's like, oh, this is like a negative video and it's hurting. Wow. Man, people like Panda, let me tell you. Anyways, let's start with this part.
No, it was about those characters, right? And those cool things. But I think what happened is the background, the speculation that we all started to have fun doing, they kind of misunderstood that and seemingly tried to make that like way more of the actual heart of the game. I mean, we all know there's order stuff going on, but like how?
Well, just talking about the speculation stuff like that of lore, man, I'm telling you right now, Legion was more hyped, and don't get me wrong, I love Legion, but Legion and Sargeras, all of that shit, even Old Gods and like Respect and like, what do you call it? Lich King, Archimond, Kil'jaeden, they were all way more hyped than they were delivered. However, the delivery of them was decent enough in what do you call it, in Burning Crusade and in Wrath of the Lich King, but it feels like they just got super lazy on delivering the speculations that people have. Right, I would say Garrus was probably the last time that they delivered, and we can actually skip Cataclysm because Cataclysm did not deliver. Everyone had like a lot of speculation about Deathwing, and then you fucking blow up Zitz on his back, under delivered, right? So in our minds we're building up these like villains and like this lore of what can be, and then when WoW delivers it, it's fucking garbage. Look at WoD, for example, Warlords of Draenor, Archimond. Look at Archimond in the Hyjal raid or in Warcraft 3. The guy is the size of a fucking tree. Look at Archimond in Warlords of Draenor. He's not even menacing. He just looks like a boss size. Bro, in my mind, the way I remember Archimond, and again, when you go into the Nether to fight him, he is that massive size, but like, why is he so tiny when he's like, when he's fighting you? Like, you know, shit like that, where it's like, it's not Avatar of Archimond. This was Archimond. The Heroic Raid didn't even have that phase where you fight the big fucking Archimond. The secret phase, right? So, again, under-delivering a lot of the villains that people are building up to.
How many times in Dragonflight do characters just talk about order with a capital O? And it's like, would you really think of it like that? Because that's how I talk about it as a lore YouTuber, but you, character, you exist within that world. And I think where this...
I think when he's talking about the way he says this, like, well, first of all, let's be real. The writers don't know what the fuck they're doing. The people who are writing this shit don't understand the difference between the character and the player that plays the character. There is this thing with stories where it's like, let's say, okay, I was reading the Witcher story, for example. You have this part in the Witcher book, right? All of them. And there is this part where Ciri is teleporting into the desert. If you saw the last season of that was out of Witcher, I heard that this episode was there, where she's literally just in the desert. This is actually how it happened in the book, okay? Geralt does not know anything. If you were playing as Geralt, the character doesn't know what's going on with Ciri. But you, the player, knows what's going on with Ciri. Which builds that excitement of like, I can't wait till my character gets to know what I know. I can't wait for the reaction of the character to see, to find out about what I, the player, know. This is like a nice, interesting emotional buildup. WoW doesn't do this. WoW treats the character like the player. So when they lie to the character, they lie to the player. And then they just go and retcon. And this is just such bad writing when you think about it. It's like you're lying to the observer of the scenario. Right? The players are observers in a sense. You can see the whole world in like an outer perspective. You can see all of Azeroth in an outer perspective. But they treat you just as dumb as the fucking character. You know just as much as the character. That is such a bad... I don't even know if this is a writing technique, but this is such a bad writing technique, if it is. It's just so underwhelming in every aspect. It is so easy to manipulate the reader, not in a good way. Mystery can manipulate the reader in a good way because it will give you the answer at like an early point and then misdirect you the fuck out of it. And then when it gives you the answer again, like, oh, fuck, man. Dude, I knew he was the killer. Right? That's a very different way. It's like WoW is trying to build this mystery, but instead of a mystery, it's just, oh, we're gonna pivot so fucking hard you will never see it coming because we didn't even see it coming. We just came up with it on the spot and put some fucking, how do you call it? Some MacGuffin that will make it happen, and boom. So you never saw it happen. So it's like, well, then I didn't build any anticipation, didn't really care that it happened.
Really happened, where it really stung, it was betrayal. It was changing like what the world felt like and deconstructing it and replacing the cool stuff with stuff that ended up being very mid. I mean, they did quite a lot of exploiting people's feelings for marketing, and then they completely fucked up the delivery of that.
100%.
I mean, take a look at Battle for Azeroth, right? We get this really cool Metzany cinematic that's apparently the last thing Metzan worked on before he left Blizzard. And then what happens as soon as we get in there? Well, the Battle for Azeroth isn't really that battle.
Bro, tell me people were not fucking hyped seeing the cinematic. Everyone and his sister had Sylvanas in their thumbnail. Talking about BFA pre-launch. No matter what, Sylvanas was their thumbnail. It was so fucking hype, bro. And what did they do? The war didn't even last 2 minutes. The war ended with the pre-expansion patch. Then gave you like that stupid mountain. Which, by the way, the scenario for the pre-expansion patch was actually like pretty good. Overall, I would say like the burning of Tal'Dorsil, in my opinion, overall was pretty good. What sucked is that the pre-expansion patch already finished after, like, it finished, like, it's like, it led to the cinematic, but after the cinematic, it's like 2 minutes scenario, and boom, off you go to Zandalar, and that's it. You're done. There's like no more war. So, I mean, there was, but it was so dumb because like the first raid had nothing to do with the Alliance and the Horde War. It was a fucking Gahoon, a makeshift old god. Right? Then finally in season 2 we get to like get some Alliance versus Horde, but it was so fucking rushed in my opinion. And then it's N'Zoth. And N'Zoth, bro, N'Zoth is a whole fucking expansion. Ny'alotha should have been a whole fucking expansion. What did we get? We get like one raid and we killed N'Zoth. Get the fuck out of here.
For Azeroth, they at lightning pace go through like 2 expansions worth of material.
Speaking of 2 expansions worth of material, in my opinion, Legion, Argus, like Legion should have ended with Illidan opening the portal to Argus. Boom. Tomb of Sargeras should have been the last raid. There should have been something between like Emerald Nightmare, Nighthold. There was what's it called, Halls of Valor or Trials of Valor, whatever. Then there should have been another mini raid. Then should be another raid, and then should have been Tomb of Sargeras. And that's how the expansion should end, with Illidan opening the portal. And then the next expansion is literally all on Argus. 8 different zones or whatever, like just exploring the homeworld of the Draenei. This is such a missed opportunity. And then eventually actually having a massive fight against Sargeras instead of just like a cinematic fight, which is like, bro, so underwhelming. So underwhelming.
Deconstruct and ruin so much of the fundamental lore that people really liked, and
Yep.
it just felt exploitative. And then you look at, oh look, Sylvanas fighting the Lich King, and it kind of sucked that, Bolvar just got utterly jobbed.
And, by the way, even though Asmongold hates the cinematic, whatever, I love the cinematic. In terms of cinematic, I liked it. I didn't really care. I mean, let's be real. Bolvar is not the real Lich King. Okay, let's be real. I never thought he was that strong. He is not Arthas. If this was Arthas and she beat him like this, I would be a bit annoyed. Bolvar, I don't give a shit. He didn't really do anything. He just sat there and controlled the undead. Like, made sure that they don't rampage around the fucking world. Who cares? Okay? So I didn't care. Also, when she broke the helm, bro, tell me that wasn't super hype. It was.
But you then go into Shadowlands, and Shadowlands doesn't even do a good job of like matching the premise of its cinematic, Like, what did Bolvar do? He did barely anything in that expansion, Sylvanas, we actually didn't even get that much of Sylvanas acting as a main villain.
You know what I noticed? A very, it's like, it seems what they have, since WoD, I would say, this happened since Warlords of Draenor. It's literally, the expansion starts, there's action, and then there's not, like, for like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour of scenario, whatever, which is cool. And then literally nothing happens until you get to like max level. BFA was slightly different, but for the most part, it also stays the same. There's like almost nothing happening while you're leveling. BFA starts, you're in a war zone in Lordaeron, Undercity, you defend or attack it, whatever. That ends, you go back to Kul Tiras, or you go to Zandalar or Kul Tiras, and then nothing. And you just level very peacefully. You're dealing with domestic problems, right? Legion, very, very similar, right? Legion, in my opinion, overall was a bit more action in each zone, but it was like very domestic thing, right? Aside from like Thunder Peaks or whatever it was called, where the Vrykul were. Half of it was kind of action because we were chasing after Sylvanas, both Alliance and Horde chasing after Sylvanas, trying to see what she's doing. But like overall, it's like it starts hard and then there's nothing. It's kind of like a bore until you reach max level. I think maybe that's why people do not like leveling in these expansions, because first of all it's very fast, and second of all nothing is happening. Dragonflight is, I would say, is probably the worst example of this. It's the best example in the sense that it is the worst, because you go to Dragon Isles and there is nothing happening. Like literally, there's nothing happening. It's like, oh, Rezagast showed up at the end of like every map or whatever. It's like, weak. I don't know.
Val was kind of useless. We just did a lot of plodding around,
Yeah.
Chasing the sigils. Oh no, the jailers got the sigils.
Yeah, the MacGuffin, and we brought the sigil to them. And that was the first part I want to react to. As you can see, fucking already talked way too much. All right, next one is we're gonna talk about Disney. 1146. Yeah, I took notes. 1146.
You can have that. I don't even. Because you see, for me, the problem is it's just so evenly applied that it's not even good storytelling. But like, they can do the more soft stuff, but you got to balance that with some stuff that's actually got tooth and claw.
It's literally all soft stuff. There's no tooth and claw in this. Razagath, you can say like, oh, Razagath with the claw. Razagath, in my opinion, was one of the dumbest villains, literally dumbest villains they ever had. I know Asmongold likes that because she was like a crazy bitch, and I get that, in my opinion. I need to stop referring to Asmongold. I watch too much of his shit, reacts and opinions. But in my opinion, Razagath was fucking dog shit. And let me explain why. She cannot finish any job. She beat what's her name? Alexstrasza. Like it's written on the screen. She beat Alexstrasza, and then she ran away when Rathian showed up. Bro, she spit. Rathian lost to a rock, okay? She's not afraid of Rathian. She could have beat both of them up, especially because Alexstrasza was already like on the ground, okay? So Razagath beat Alexstrasza, and Rathian cannot do shit. He's literally like he's a half mature, like big sized whelp, basically. He can't do shit to Razagath, okay? And then she just leaves. Why? Okay, sure. Then there we do the what's it called? The magic dragons, the blue dragonflight area, whatever it was called, don't remember, don't care. We do that, and she appears again, runs away again. Right? Then the what do you call it? The yellow dragonflight was completely had nothing to do with her. So it's like we're just wasting time at that point. Like, legit has nothing to do with her. And then, right, like before that, the centaur area was the dumbest thing. The centaurs, like the rebelling centaurs, are like, we will never bow down to anyone. We will be our own first. And they work with the fucking, what do you call them? Drakes, whatever, proto drakes. And like the guys who are like the elementalists that like are also in the proto Drake faction. Like they never work for under anyone, so like you're working under them right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's just like it's such dumb storytelling. Like legit, you can tell these writers cannot see past the fucking wall when it comes to creativity. It's so fucking everything is in your face. You're like you know exactly what's gonna happen. And it's like not in a good way. Sometimes know what's gonna happen is like makes you excited. No, this is so fucking plain that is just why am I even fucking caring about the story? And then all the dragons are fucking babies. This is fucking Disney flight. This is not even Dragonfly.
Or else the soft stuff, it's just more nothing, right? Just the amount of time has been, I see, you know,
Look at that. Look at that over exaggeration. Look at
more
that.
nothing, right? Just the amount of time
She touches
has
her.
been, I see, you know,
she complete like you. Who reacts like this? You move someone's hands, like oh my god. Like give me a fucking break. Like the over exaggeration on these emotions. These are fucking dragons, okay? These are supposed to be like fierce, fucking like ego out the wazoo. They lived for forever. They know what's up. Fucking crybabies. Teenage drama, bro. Teenage fucking drama. Like, act your age. 10,000 years old. Hey, listen, yeah, we fucked up. Yeah, I didn't know what the Titans were thinking. But I had no choice. It wasn't like I planned this. Just be fucking frank. You're fucking old. Yeah, we fucked up.
I understand my feelings. I've now been accepted by the community, yada, yada, yada. And it's just so generic, man. And also, there's an insane inconsistency.
And again,
I think
like,
right,
this whole thing's like you did
generic,
the
man.
Extra. You did nothing while your masters warped out children still in the shell. What do you want her to do? What do you want Alexstrasza to do? Probably also didn't even know it happened. Second of all, she can easily say, I did not know. I would never have let it happen. Something. I don't know. Like, just talk. You're just letting her do what, like, say whatever, and then she leaves, and it's like... Act your fucking age, man. Fucking communicate.
And also, there's an insane inconsistency, and I think a great example of this is the Night
these fucking tree huggers. Yeah.
Elf versus Forsaken quests. Because, like, or even you could say the 10.1 campaign quests versus the 10.2 campaign quests. I don't know how this is being doled out, but, like,
I was listening to this. Bruh. Who the fuck is Maiev? Like, I mean, I know who Maiev is. who the fuck is this pretending to be Maiev? That's what I mean.
The Night Elf one. It's essentially Lysander, a total Marisu. You may as well call him friggin' Wesley Crusher. Trek, shut up Wesley, etc., etc. Just going around kind of scolding Maiev. It's like, yeah, some 19-year-old Zoomer. And I think Matt's...
Well, and clearly, let's be real, this 19-year-old Zoomer, whatever, telling the old ones how it is and what they know and what they don't know. It's like, yeah, these writers have been on Twitter for a bit too long. They don't know shit, but they think they know everything.
Matt's actually working a breakdown that I'll be recording soon for this, but it's like, yeah, some Zoomer comes in, just kind of is like, Maiev, I know more about Fel than you, even though Maev's like this pretty legendary character who's been hunting demons and shit for like 10,000 years, and it just feels rubbish. But then you go to the Forsaken quest, and the Forsaken quest totally knows what the Forsaken are. It is...
I mean, just them coming out of the water like that, bro, like, this is fucking brutal. This, like, you see this coming, you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
It's gritty, it's gruesome, it's brilliant.
And they are
the Bronze Flight filled stuff.
Oh my god, bro. This whole Chromie thing, again, Chromie's not a fucking whelp or a child. I know she's a gnome, but, like, Chromie has been around for a very long time. Why is she acting like she's 10 years old? And fucking Grandpa Nosdormu is like, she's like his pet or whatever. Like, what the
I mean, the amount of just like, oh, Chromie feels sad. Now Chromie feel good. Chromie hug leg of Nosdormu. Happy, happy, happy. You know, Nosdormu is sad and depressed. Then people do something for him. Now he's not sad and depressed. The end. And it's like, do you...
Dude, Nosdormu's literally depressed the whole fucking expansion. Like, fuck off.
Do you know what you could have done? How cool that could have been? And instead, it just ended up being more padded room, soft bullshit. There was none of the cool factor and the spectacle. And the thing is, I know, like, whenever I talk about, say, this image I brought up on Twitter, I was like, hey, I want WoW to feel like this again. And the next thing that I posted was an image, like a drawing of the Siege of Karabor, to show that, like, World of Warcraft, when it's set on another planet with, you know, the Fel and all these things happening, it can still feel badass too. That's, like, the point.
That's what I want from WoW.
It's like, we want WoW to make us feel like that, not WoW to be what it's basically delivering us right now.
You know what I want? I want there to be, like, a fucking massive war. I don't care if it's filled with NPCs or shit. For all I care, it can also be a PvP thing. But there should be, like, a lot of NPCs on both sides, and you are part of that fucking noise. Yeah, you are a champion, so you have a bit more abilities than the NPCs. They mostly auto-attack, but fuck, not all of them. Some of them are priests, some of them are, you know, are the riflemen. They sit in the back and whatever. What you saw in the cinematic for BFA, I want to be a part of that battle, but, like, actually be a part of that battle. Not go on, like, a solo fucking mission into Undercity. I'm not a commando. I want to be a part of the fucking mess.
So that's one of the big things. Cool stuff just doesn't happen.
No, there's no cool
and it's not
stuff
told by gameplay. I mean, even take Wrath of the Lich King, the whole situation leading up to the Wrathgate in terms of quest design. Take also Wrath of the Lich King, whenever you're first pushing into Icecrown, and you and the...
I mean, I wish they did more with the Wrathgate. I wish it was like... Because it was like preparing for the Wrathgate. You're preparing, if you're Alliance, you prepare on the right side. If you're Horde, prepare on the left side, if I remember correctly. And as you prepare whatever, and then you finally finish the preparation, then you approach the Wrathgate with the other NPCs, right? And then the cinematic hits. By the way, fucking amazing cinematic. So good. But I wish there was a gameplay element to it, and then the Lich King is like, enough, and just fucking fucks everyone over, knocks everyone back. Right? You're, like, injured, but you're not dead. And then shit hits the fan. And then the cinematic hits. That would have been so fucking good.
Use a lot of phasing for this.
It was still pretty good.
So it kind of bugs out if you've got loads of party members. But fundamentally, like, you build up the Argent base. You know, there's, like, a big battle and everything. And it's got spectacle and cool factor, right? And that's the kind of thing that's just like...
And also, there were a lot of players doing this. I don't know about, like, Wrath Classic, but, like, in Wrath, bro, this ICC was so fucking active. You couldn't even mine a node before it disappeared because, like, people already fucking gathered the shit out of it.
Enjoyable. So much of Dragon Fight's...
technically back then, there was no tagging. It was like one person gets it and, like, you're fucked.
nothing. And I think the Bronze Flight stuff, it's another example of what BFA did, where BFA just chewed through so much stuff and...
Yeah, we already talked about this. They're just like, they're rushing through content like crazy. Anyways, let's go to the next point. 1728. This point is about WoW hasn't grown. I would say WoW hasn't developed.
The Shadowlands.
Evolved.
But meanwhile, here's the deal. WoW hasn't actually grown, because we've just been reinventing the same wheel again and again and again and again.
Yeah, and people who see this wheel and understand what the wheel is don't fucking want to play the game. It's people who are still blind. And again, if you're just in, like, you don't care about the wheel, you just really actually enjoy Mythic Plus and you really actually enjoy raiding, then fuck it, kudos to you. But a normal player doesn't enjoy Mythic Plus. Okay, they're doing it for the gear. And it's like they're not realizing that their gear becomes irrelevant. It's like they realize it, but they don't internalize it. Right? Everything you're doing in WoW, and this is the biggest problem with WoW, everything you do in WoW is irrelevant. Everything. Why would you play when the expansion comes out instead of like the last patch of the expansion? At that point, it would actually also be worth your money, because aside from like the subscription, but the subscription, right, the $15 a month, you're gonna have so much content in that, for those $15. It's fucking terrific, right? The game is like 50% off because the next expansion is gonna come out. So you buy the game for less. The subscription is actually worth your money, unlike right now, because all you're doing is fucking doing Mythic Plus because there's absolutely nothing to do. Yeah. Tell me about how there's world content, okay? Fucking rare farming like a fucking degenerate, okay? None of it. Okay, there's no content in WoW that is worth $15 a month, unless you're actually just really love Mythic Plus and like you just can't wait to come home and play a fucking Mythic Plus. Like, oh man, today I'm gonna get the 21, the 26, the 27, the 30. Oh man, I can't wait to hang out with my buddies and just kill the same fucking shit in the same fucking dungeon over and over and over. Oh man, so much fun. Hey, if that's you, kudos to you. I bet that's not everyone. I bet that's vast majority of people do not enjoy this, okay? They just do it because they have to, if they want to get to max gear, or they want to get the Keystone Master mount, which is, again, how do you even care about, because like the mounts right now, when like they're just recolors, I don't even understand. But either way, all of this, right, season 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter. Last season of the game is when the game actually launches. You have all of the all the content throughout that was built up throughout the expansion. You can literally spend time leveling, which is always easier. A lot of catch-ups there. You can do your time doing the questing and get the full story in order without any fucking time gates or bullshit, right? You can do probably all the dungeons that were probably available. You can probably do the faded raids, so you can do all the raids with the still kind of like relevant. Why are you even playing WoW until the last patch? I don't even get it. Right, and before before Dragonflight, the last patch actually was the patch that fixed all the systems, right? So I mean, if you played Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands, you would know. You might as well just play the last patch, because that's when like they fixed all the systems, all the covenants are working, all the Azurite armor is like the best it was. Essences were easier to get. Corruption was fucking amazing, right? You got the vendor by then, all that shit. Right, Legion, you had your Crucible and you had your Legendary, super easy access. You could do all the other raids because people were still farming them because the transmogs were really fucking cool. So, yeah, like just play the last patch. Like, I don't know why you're even bothering wasting. I want you to understand that you're spending, if you're playing a WoW expansion from start to finish, you're spending $420 approximately every 2 years on World of Warcraft. $210 a year for this shit.
How does gearing work? How does class power work? How does this work? How does that work? We've just been sitting here iterating in the fundamentals. And the part of Dragonflight that to me is really good is I feel like we've actually arrived in some great places for the future. I look at the talent trees and, you can see Blizzard are, by tweaking the placement of talents and stuff like that, they clearly have more design tools. And they're doing...
As much as I think the talent trees right now are just as good as the other ones were, like in terms of like variety, I think overall this is still a good change for the game. Overall, in an ideal world, this can open up a lot of variability to builds. The problem is knowing WoW, it will never be balanced, and there will always be like, okay, this what do you call loadout is for Mythic Plus. This loadout is for Raid. This loadout is for Tyrannical Week, and that other Mythic Plus loadout was for what do you call it? Fortified. I think they removed them. I don't even know at this point. They removed Fortified and Tyrannical. And then I'm pretty sure they didn't. And then one loadout for PvP. And a lot of them, like for many classes, it'll be like a difference of like 1 talent point. Like I know with Paladin back then, because they changed the Paladin, I didn't play when they changed it. But like when it just came out, Paladin was like you switch like like you go from like the right row, you switch those for the left row. That's your PvP. Everything else is the same. So it's like it's an illusion of choice. There wasn't really much of a choice. It had as much choice as the previous talent tree with like 1 of 3 choices. You kind of had the same with that one. Because honestly, as cool as this tree looks, this doesn't offer up too much variability. Like, it doesn't offer what I would want it to offer. First of all, it's too narrow. Second of all, like for example, if I want to reach to here, I can't go to here from here. You know? Why not? Like I want to go to the right side here, and then I want to go here. A lot of times it's like you want to play a certain way, and it's like you can't, because like mobility is here, but then the burst is here. I want to be a bursty mobile, and it's like you can't. Why? I'm not talking about this tree specifically, but it's like I'm just saying like the mixture of like the talents is just so bad that it's like it doesn't really let you. It's like you still play the way they want you to play. The limitations are extremely fucking visible. So it's like you can't really play the way you want to play. You play with a very specific, limited option to how they want you to play. I don't think that's a fun tree.
Doing loads of reworks and rebalancing, and that's really good, right? And I think that talent system can really go the distance, and that makes me happy. Same with gearing, especially as we move into patch 10.2. I think gearing's really found a great place. But WoW hasn't grown in the big sense in, say, where are class order halls as an evergreen system? Where is player...
Basically, no evergreen systems at all. Where's fun Torghast? Like, literally, Torghast just for fun, with like whatever, like some cosmetic rewards that fit fit Torghast, right? More of the shoulders, some toys that fit it, like maybe eventually a mount, like if you can reach floor 100 or whatever, and all you do is make the beta Torghast that everyone loved. That like your character just fucking breaks the game. Who gives a shit? It's not a progression. Like there's no progression there in terms of gear. It's just the luck of the draw and the abilities, smart choices, smart mixture of talents. Play around with it. Add like fucking. You can add affixes to it. Like just make it a fucking crazy thing. Make a floor that's just a flood of monsters, like a never-ending flood, right? Make a floor where it's like you have to defend something, right? You can do so much shit with Torghast that to make it fun, but not fucking mandatory. Don't put gear in it. Just make it fun. That's all it is. Same with Battlefronts. I don't know how to make Battlefronts really fun, to be honest, but again, Battlefronts, you can make it a more fun thing, right? And if eventually they open up what do you call it, housing and shit like that, and you can decorate your house, add rewards in like those systems for those places, for like your house, that you can like put like the helmet of the jailer on your fucking wall because you beat Torghast or some shit. Oh man, Island Expedition, right? Could have been fun if they actually like put effort into it, but it's like this is what Blizzard does. They make a system, the players didn't like it, let's not fix it, let's just abandon. Fuck man, just fix what people are telling you to fix about this. People actually like Torghast in beta. Why'd you make it a shitty version? It's like, let's just abandon Torghast. Now you can get ashes from somewhere else. Just make it the version that people liked. It's not rocket science. You already had it.
Housing as an evergreen system. Where is PvP? Like, why is it not? Why did solo queue RPGs not happen ages ago? Why are there not new maps? Why are there not like new reward things? Mythic Plus. When's it going to get proper rewards?
Yep.
When is it going to provide experiences that work for more people? Mage Towers really liked in what, 2017?
Dude, Mage. Big true. Honestly, dude, like you can make something like Mythic Plus as a leveling system. Let's be real. Like straight up scaling dungeons that are Mythic Plus for leveling, and you can just like push yourself. It doesn't have to be like exactly Mythic Plus, but you can increase the difficulty to reward you more XP.
Where, like, I know they resurrected it, but
yeah,
that's like 5 years ago.
Resurrected it, and it's only available once every like 3 months whenever Legion Time Walking is around. Fuck right off. What a like. Here's what you guys always wanted, but here's also like spit in your fucking face, assholes. Don't ask us for shit. That's basically what they did with the Mage Tower.
Have you not like brought the Baldur's Guild back already? And I know they're probably going to do that for 10.2.5 or 10.2.7, but again, it's been years, and over those years, people have just got apathetic and they've wandered away. Yeah. Where's challenging solo content that exists in the world? I mean, you might say, hello, WoW Classic. Where are things like that? I mean, essentially, large, gutsy features that get people excited.
I'll tell you what the problem is with solo content in the world that is too hard. Tanks are overpowered. DPS lacks survivability against monsters. And healers don't do enough damage. So what happens is instead of forming groups, if you have a tank spec, all you do is like you just mass pull and people will tag it. Or you just make these groups. But like it's dumb groups. It's not like groups where you like converse with people. It's just groups like click, and it's like auto invite when you join the group and whatever, and then it's like you don't even say hi, you just go there, tag monsters, bring the tank into them. It's like it's very stupid gameplay. Like it has to be so challenging. This world content has to be so challenging that tanks cannot solo it. Like, it will actively have mechanics that healers will need to, like, make sure that the tank lives. You're actually going to have a proper group to deal with this in a world environment setting. But they'll never do it, because the world environment is for casuals and whatever, and that's fine. I'm totally down for that. But I don't mind having certain locations that are, like, less casual friendly, but they're not instanced. It's a fucking MMO, okay?
And this is the strange thing, because it has bit them before. You know, they did the garrisons, and those kind of backfired because I think they were quite misled in their design philosophy.
Well, yeah, they abandoned what they planned because they didn't have enough time. They want to make it a lot more customizable, but they couldn't. I don't know if it's a system thing or just because they didn't have time. So they're like, okay, well, let's just make this default and whatever, and then they abandoned it. They essentially abandoned garrisons in before patch 0.1, and then they just like added, like, the whole garrison was abandoned except for like the command table where you send your minions to do shit. That's it. That's the only thing that wasn't abandoned. Everything else fucking gone.
They've done all the, the big expansion build around borrowed power things, which, broadly speaking, post-artifact weapons backfired. But I think what's happened is...
Did they? Corruption didn't backfire. Corruption, I cannot find a single person that did not like having a shit ton of corruption on his character. Like, not the corruption, like the corruption powers. What they didn't like was trying to fucking get what they wanted. That's what people didn't like. It was impossible to get the corruption you want. That was the problem. If I want to stack the fucking haste to, like, let's say it like this, okay, I'm playing my paladin and I want to play a warlock and I want to have the specific corruption for the warlock. If I didn't start when the patch came out, I would be hard pressed to get it. Like, it would be almost impossible to get, because first of all, RNG. Second of all, you're gonna have to have the currency enough for the rotating fucking vendor. That made no sense. Why is it why does the vendor fucking rotate with its with the corruptions? Like, it's so many dumb decisions Meanwhile, the system itself was fun. Acquisition for it was shit. Every system they made was actually fun to play with. Essences, fantastic. I already said this before. Essences, corruption, Azerite armor, in my opinion, was not even bad. It's like, now, it's bad because it was supposed to replace tiers, right? Tier sets. But if, let's say, you didn't know it was supposed to replace tier sets and was just like, oh, from now on, your headpiece, armor, and shoulders also gonna give you a certain power. Dude, that's fucking awesome. Are you kidding me? Dude, that's great. Oh, but then it costs you a fucking fortune to replace it. Well, first of all, you can't even change the talents. Then when you can, it costs you a fucking fortune. Like, again, problems that should have been solved in beta. That were obvious.
They've just become extremely defensive in their design. So, to me, it doesn't...
I 100% agree. Dragonflight is the best example of them being super defensive because Dragonflight is the most plain expansion ever. You can say it's like, oh, they're releasing content, all like so much content, whatever. This video has been going long enough, so I'm not gonna draw out their map. But if you look at the, their release map, whatever they're called, like the patch release map, that's like shows what every patch releases, you'll find actually one content in it, even though it will list like 7 things. It's like, oh, UI changes. UI changes is not content, okay? Right? Every patch is gonna have literally like one thing that is content, be the time traveling portals, be it the rare farm area, be it the other rare farm area, right? And then the major patch is actually when you get content, which is like, oh, we're gonna change the 8 dungeons you're doing now, and here's a new raid. That's it. There's no more content other than that.
Feel like they've learned.
Okay, I think I pressed this point hard enough. Okay, let's go to the next point. What Warcraft was and what it should still be. And there's a very interesting part about this when it talks about medicine. And in my opinion, you know exactly what I'm gonna say right now. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Those devs should be fucking fired. But let's go.
To celebrate classic, classic hardcore. Like, that's the Warcraft that almost everyone fell in love with, right? And to be honest, in a way, I feel like they know this too. I think that's the thing. They know this too. There's been a fair amount of internal discussion on that team, from what I understand, about the direction of the game. And quite a few people on that team, I think, are not particularly interested in, they're more interested in the kind of, Dragonflight storytelling. Because as much as, Ian's talked about how it's amazing to be working with Chris again, and I believe that, and there's been quite a lot of buzz about that lately. I've also heard 1 or 2 bits of buzz on the grapevine that some people are really frustrated by it, because
those devs should be fucking fired. The ones who are frustrated by Metzen being there should be fucking fired. You know why? Because you guys fucked up so bad, you had to bring this guy out of retirement to try and fix your shit. That's how bad you fucked up. Devs need to understand they're not making a game for themselves. You do not take a fucking franchise. I mean, you are making a game for yourself, but when you are coming into an already established franchise, like Warcraft, basically, and you try to change it, you should be fired, and you should not even get a letter of recommendation. You should be fired, and you should never even say that you work for this company for your own benefit, because when they call up to ask them about you, they would say, oh, these fuckers try to change our vision for the game. Get the fuck out of here. These fucking devs need to fucking get real. You are not here to change an existing franchise. It is the same fucking problem with these idiot directors, producers that take a loved franchise, Lord of the Rings, and they give you the Rings of Power. This is the same people that took Witcher and gave you Witcher Season 2 and 3. Okay? Fuck those guys. Stop ruining shit that we like. Metzen is there to fix that problem. Hopefully he can. I highly doubt he can, because, let's be real, the problems were already starting when Metzen was still there. Even though he wasn't even taking a very big part in WoW at that moment. Still. Okay? Still. But hopefully. StarCraft 2 story, fucking fun. I love StarCraft 2 story. StarCraft 1 too. And it was brutal. It was, oh, man, it was such a good story. Warcraft story, oh. And we know Madsen worked on Warcraft, okay? It's like, yeah, hopefully he will bring this. Enough with this pussy bullshit, okay? Now, when people say it's like, oh, well, what, Blizzard got woken, whatever. Not Blizzard, the devs. This is one of the things where it's like, it is okay to blame the devs. The devs fucked it up. Not Blizzard. Blizzard fucked it up because they're forcing them to release stuff that are not finished because they're on a schedule for the investors. The reason the shit is taking so long for them to make is because they probably cannot agree, or like they have to tiptoe around diversity hires regarding everything. People lost their shit when there was talk about the time travel for like Alexstrasza, that you need to keep her there to be enslaved and raped for another week. Bro, fuck it. It's a fictional character. Fuck it. It's Warcraft. It's brutal. Whoever made the decision to make that scenario, he should be the one leading the fucking charge. He should be the one leading the the lore team. Okay? Anyone who changed that, fuck him. No, but Alexstrasza, man, it's a fucking NPC. She's not real. Shit happens. It was an evil time. She was enslaved by orcs. She was forced to give birth to more fucking dragons so the orcs can ride them. What do you think? It just didn't happen? Like, because you didn't do it? Fuck, who gives a shit?
Because it's no longer the WoW that they want to work on. But the thing is, it's like, well, Madsen kind of did establish WoW. And I think the vast majority of the player base, they want the WoW that was informed by Chris and Samwise as two examples to cover, like, you know, art, tone, stuff like that. And yes, that means we're actually not looking for a super, like, deep, incredible, the highest of art experience. We're actually not looking for that. Yeah. What we're looking for is a big fucking cool world where really cool archetypical stuff happens with a few nice twists here and there. Like, that's actually what people want. People want to feel like the Grom and Thrall cinematic from Warcraft 3. They want to feel like the Warlords of Draenor opening cinematic. That is what WoW should be hitting, not renewal. Fuck Night Elves. Which
he said it. And honestly, I don't know about you. The way I envisioned Night Elves in basically Warcraft 3, it's basically the Amazons. First of all, I didn't even know. Like, I thought all the males were druids, and all the females were like the archers, the warriors, basically. It felt like the Amazons, basically. And I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. Like, they're literally the Amazons. None of this fucking pussy tree-hugging bullshit. Like, fucking, oh, yeah, traditions need to change. No! Stick your ground. Who is this? This is Maiev? This is not Maiev. This is a fucking imposter, okay? This is a fucking dreadlord, okay? Let's be real. Anyways, last point. And this is the point that I'm pretty sure Panda didn't even make it to this point, because this is like pure hopium. This is like a minute or almost 2 minutes of hopium.
Hazard to say that that's not what WoW should be trying to emulate. So yeah, I think that's just like, that's the situation. They've been miscalibrated. They've been making things good, but they haven't been making the right things. That's like the issue. And I think, to be honest, yeah, like the
They haven't been making things good. They have been making things the same with the least amount of risks, to not offend anyone, to basically, in my opinion, basically they just want to like work on retention. Everyone who left is not coming back. They dealt with it, and they're like, okay, well, let's just try to keep the people we have, because we're gonna lose even them if we're gonna keep down this route, which honestly, I don't even believe them. If they didn't live in Shadowlands, they're not living for anything. But yeah, they're working on retention, in my opinion. So, and yeah, I don't think Dragonflight is a good expansion. Is it better than Shadowlands? Sure. Is it good? Absolutely not. He calls it a 7 out of 10. I call it like a 4. Okay, it's below average, it's subpar, and the only thing that is keeping fucking Dragonflight afloat is literal shills. People like Panda, who legit don't, like, I don't even understand their brain. It's like, I'm pretty sure they played other games. And it's like, I have no idea what is keeping them in WoW. Aside from like, oh, well, all my friends are playing WoW. Bro, all your friends are on Discord. Just talk to them on Discord where you play, when you actually get to play a real game, okay?
Jokers, those are part of it. Even look at the dragons, the new dragon models. Why are they so...
fucking Disney dragons. Oh, so menacing. Dude, no, I want to be afraid of dragons. I want to be like, if I misstep, if I right-click one of these guys for too much, he'll fucking slap me. Leave me alone.
soft and friendly looking? Like when you saw Bronze Dragon way
Like,
back
it
in...
would be so cool. Imagine like you keep clicking Alex Raza, and before, instead of telling you something stupid like, do I have big mom energy, she slaps you, kills you, and then resurrects you and tells you, don't do that shit again. That would be cool.
So soft and friendly looking. Like when you saw Bronze Dragon way back in the day, like they looked dangerous. The friendly dragons looked dangerous, and that was cool. Because they did seem like some crazy bunch, you know, greater than us. But like now they're very soft. So why did you do that? Even some of the art.
Oh god.
Why is Nosdormu so moisturized? Where's the texture in his
I
face?
want to understand, these dragons, like the aspects specifically, are over 20,000 years old. 20,000 years old. Maybe they don't process emotions like humans, but bro, if I was 20,000 years old, man, what emotions, bro? I would be drained out of emotions. I'd be the most stoic motherfucker out there. Like, I've experienced everything. Nothing can fucking surprise me anymore. Nothing can depress me anymore. I expect everything. I had 20,000 years to think about it and ponder about it. Bro, ain't nothing moving me from my fucking state.
I don't know. But there's just a bunch of things that, to borrow something from Suramar, don't feel quite right. And I actually think I've stumbled on... I've stumbled on the thing. Dragonflight is mostly pretty damn good.
No, I, again, strongly fucking disagree. I think it's a garbage expansion.
But, in the words of that Suramar NPC, something is not quite right. And to not be doomer about it, I think there's a reason that Metzen is back in a fairly substantial way.
Here's the hopium.
I do think that world revamp will happen.
Honestly, I agree with him. I do hope to an extent that Metzen can actually fix this. I don't see how he can fix this. Like, they have to change so much shit. They have to change how their endgame systems work. They have to change punishment versus reward. They have to change time-wasting mechanics. Right, and they have to give a story that is super appealing and is super massive and is super engaging to the player base. Good fucking luck, man. Like, it's like Dragonflight is literally like ground zero, and you have to get to like fucking level 1000, and you can only go like 2 levels at a time. You know, like 1 level at a time. Good fucking luck, man. There's like so much work. I honestly think Metzen is probably working on like 12.0 at this point and not even 11.0, and like he's giving them guidelines what to do in 11.0 to make 12.0 possible.
And I do think that they'll be investing time into bigger features. I think that with Dragonflight, they needed to get their house in order. And while they were getting their house in order, some things got a whole bunch better, some things did not get a whole bunch better. But now their house is a lot more in order, and they're actually able to make content. So I suppose, if they're doing world revamp, that kind of thing, I suppose like that, guided by Metzen, who I think at least knows what Warcraft should be feeling like, we could actually be going somewhere. And I think that's all I've got in the tank for this one.
Alright, yeah, so that's pretty much the video. Like I said, the last part is hopium, and again, I do not understand what Panda took from this video that is negative. Everything about was real. He just stated pretty much the obvious, what people were saying throughout the expansion. Dragons feel like they're Disney dragons. Okay, content is stale and what it was all the time. Like, yeah, it's too mush and it's not war enough. There's no war in Warcraft. Like, these are not things that no one has been saying. This has been like around for a while. If you go on the forums, I need to get back to making that the series of like forum adventures, because man, the forums, they can get really fucking interesting, right? But people are complaining about this shit for a long time, right? So I mean, he didn't say anything. You know what? And this is probably the best way to describe it. If people like Panda are watching this, but is he wrong though? Say it's negative. I don't care. Is he wrong? If he's not wrong, that's why he's negative. And if he is wrong, tell me in the comments below. That's it for today. I don't want to make this video any longer than it is. It's already 55 minutes, so I'm going to say my piece now. Goodbye.